Hi everybody, it's Georgia Rose from Zenkuda. Welcome to the Soul Space. So tonight you get to actually meet me. I'm not in my home studio, I'm in my Zen Den. I actually am having my home remodeled. So I am living in my Zen Den. And usually I don't spend full time down here. Usually I spend part of my time down here. I come down here and I write and I see clients and I do coaching and I meditate and all kinds of things. So hopefully as soon as we get over this pandemic here in New York, you guys can join me for some activities in the Zen Den, in the Zenkuda Soul Space. So welcome tonight. I might do the broadcast from here from now on. It's actually a nice space to do that from. So as you all know the drill, I have to share the show. And tonight I'm going to talk about something a little different than what I normally talk about. So let me just share the show as soon as we come on. I know sometimes it takes a few minutes for us to get on. There is a delay. So I'm going to watch this. Got to turn my sound down. Always forget to do that. Here we are. And we're going to share this. And it'll take a few minutes for everybody to come on. I hope you're all having a good day. There's Marianne. So this week is going by very quickly, but probably not quickly enough for me. I'm a little displaced as I have, I said, a lot of activity, let's call it, going on in my house as far as remodeling and some things going on. So it's been a little bit disarray for me. And it's so weird because I actually can't find anything. And I was so organized and now I can't find anything. So how does that happen? I don't know. But anyway, tonight I want to talk about something that we rarely talk about on the show because I always have us talking about really positive things. And tonight, let me type this. There we are. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about ugly-hearted people. Yeah. I actually just thought of this today when I was doing some things. And I find that if you're tuning into this show and you are in the Zenkuda community and you're a really big fan, I find that you're probably a really warm-hearted person and somebody who's looking to put more love in your life and somebody who's really looking to expand their heart, and you're just open, you know, and that's really what the Zenkuda community is about. And when we meet every Tuesday in the Soul Space, oftentimes I hear a lot of great stories about how our Zenkuda community has been supportive to you, or how you've really been tuning into the podcast and love it. And I'd love to hear some more of those testimonials. But right now, what I want to talk about is the things that we let in our life when we are trying to... I hope you guys have been able to hear me. I didn't realize that I didn't put my mic on. So hopefully you can hear me now. So I'm going to look at the comments. I might have to repeat. Sorry. Okay. Got to go to my live. Here I am. Okay, so here's my comments. Hey, Sarah. Hi, Andrew. So, like I said, if you're attracted to things like the Zenkuda community and positive things, astrology, healing, Reiki, even just, listening to certain influencers who are really, really positive, chances are that you're opening your heart more and you're looking to expand your heart. And I find that on the journey of doing that, one of our biggest challenges is avoiding ugly-hearted people. And it seems like the more empathic we get, the more we are open to finding ways in our life. Here we go. I should have done this before. I apologize. The more we're open to finding ways in our life where we bring in more love and expand ourselves, the more we seem to open to that, the more these people come in who are just not nice. And I think that's because they're attracted to us because of our light, and also because as we are expanding, we're more patient and we're more kind and we listen to them. And I think whether you want to label them a narcissist or just an unkind person or a cold-hearted person or whatever you want to label these people. I'm really not into labels. I just kind of can know when someone kind of has a little bit of an ugly heart. And I say that without judgment. I say it in the sense of I just don't really want them to be around me. But I find that on my journey, when I look back, especially over the last 10, 12 years, the amount of those type of people who've come into my life have been really plentiful. And you would think when you're on the path of more love and more nurturing and more spirituality that you wouldn't be attracting those people. But I think that's the point. We're attracting them more because we're so nice. And they, people who aren't nice want someone to complain to. They want someone to be patient and listen to them. And we so often are that. So I would love to hear your feedback on what you guys think about that kind of subject, because what I'm finding is, especially nowadays, there just seems to be so many not so nice people around that it's like they're converging on us all. So anyway, I wanted to say a little bit about that. And I actually have a list, okay? And this isn't meant to be like, a bitch fest or anything. It isn't meant to be complaining about people like this. Actually, what I want to do from this conversation, and I want you guys to join in, is kind of unpack and unravel why we allow these type of personalities, these type of people to have so much influence in our life. And I have some theories about that too. So if you've had an experience recently with somebody who's just not a kind person, somebody who's kind of like, I would say just a real ugly hearted person maybe, I'd love to hear your story. So share the show if you like. Anything that I ever put out on any of my media, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or whatever, you can share it. You don't even have to ask me. I love it when people share my stuff. So I'm trying to see my comments here, and for whatever reason, a lot of times my computer is very delayed with comments. So I see a lot of people out there, though. I've got John Minetta there, Marianne, Andrew. I think Terry's out there. I'm seeing a whole lot of people, but my delay is really on. So, okay. So I have a list of people who are just not kind, cold-hearted, kind of like the people that we want to avoid. And I'd love to hear what your experiences are, because my theory is oftentimes these people come into our life to teach us something. So not only are they attracted to our kindness and our expansion of love and the way we want to embrace them, right? I remember, as an example, a few years back, I actually was in a relationship. I don't even know if you could call it that. It was a relationship for a very short time, but it turned into this dramatic connection for years. And I always call it, this is my Plutonian relationship. And I remember this person was a horrible person, but I was just always attracted to them for some reason. I always ended up back with them. And so I remember actually thinking to myself all the time how horrible they were. But yet it was like, if I wasn't going to turn around and walk after them, you'd have to nail my boots to the floor. Well, why was that? Well, I think it was because I really believed at that point in my life, this is going back many, many years ago, I thought like they just needed love. And I thought I could fix them because if they just needed somebody to love them. That was so crazy now that I look back. And so if anyone's out there now in like a crappy relationship or even an abusive friendship where it's all them, not enough you, you will not love them out of their personality. Their personality is there to stay, let me tell you. Okay? So Aaron says exactly. I always say it's like turning in the dark. It is. And lately I find there's so many different problems with going on in the world with this, where people are just attached and attracted to things that are really bad for them. So first I'm going to go over my little list of what... I think it's also true we're a good example against their belief system. And I think as we grow and mature, and this is where I'm going with all this, we're going to have some fun with it tonight. But the real bottom line on this is there's lessons in that for us. And as we learn those lessons, we actually expand higher. And we finally get to a point where these cold-hearted people are just not attractive to us. And we can spot them in the blink of an eye, and we have no desire to be around them. They're not attractive at all. They're not even attracted to us because they know they're not going to get a source of supply from us, right? They know they're not going to get the beautiful embrace of their bad behavior because we believe we're going to love them out of it. So, hi, David. Hi, Sarah. Yeah, I feel like it's just expanding, definitely. And and we have the light on, like Aaron says. So we have the light on. So they're like, ooh, let me go over there because they're going to give me some really good stuff, even though I'm a bastard. You know, it really is like that when they find an empath. So, yeah, they need to love themselves. Exactly right. That's exactly right. So I have a little list, and I thought we could have fun with this tonight. Okay, the traits of a cold-hearted person. First of all, they're uncaring and unempathetic. I find that this is really, and I hate to generalize, and please forgive me, I don't want to insult any of my viewers, but I find that this is really prominent in the young people. Like I don't mean like 20-somethings even, but like people that we're raising now, children we're raising now. I feel like they're becoming unempathetic, a lot of them, a lot of unempathetic teenagers. And it's really like they're so caught up in themselves that they don't extend that focus to caring or friendship or, you know, even allowing vulnerable emotions so that they can actually feel a connection with someone. So that's something for all you moms and dads out there, really be careful about, because I feel like there's something going on with the way that children are being raised nowadays that really not so empathetic. And I think that's a big, big, big problem. And I think that's why this population is growing. Number 2, they're distant and detached. So did you ever have a friend or a partner or somebody you were in a relationship with, could even be a family member or sister, brother, or father, or whatever, a mother, that like you'd come home really excited about something and they're just not excited for you? It's like you can't even get them to share your life. They are just always detached, never really joining, never really a part of it. What is that about? And why would we want someone like that in our life? And it almost becomes this circular pattern where we keep doing more and keep trying to be more enthusiastic, trying to bring them into our energy. And let me tell you, the more enthusiastic you become, the more detached they become. Because the reason they're detached to begin with is they're separated from themselves. So someone who's separated from themselves cannot be connected to you. And in trying to get them to connect to you by being really enthusiastic or really positive or really happy about something is just going to backfire, because the more you demonstrate those really positive emotions, a cold-hearted person is not comfortable with that. They don't like it. They like to be in their little bubble or their little dot of complaining and negativity. So the more you are successful, the more you strive for positivity, they're going to detach from you because they're really uncomfortable with it. It's not that they are a bad person and can't be happy for you. It's more like they don't know how. They just don't know what that emotion feels like. They won't allow themselves to experience it. Number 3, and this is one of my total pet peeves, they come across as superior and unkind. How can you be unkind? That is one thing I just don't get, but everyone is different, right? No, don't judge. So I won't be judgy tonight. But I'm a pretty kind person, and I think it's my Libra sun, I always kind of see both sides of a situation. I sometimes to my default. And I just never can tolerate any unkindness. I just think there's no reason for it. It's a waste of time. I feel like we're all put here to alleviate suffering any way and anywhere we can. And there are people in this life that just want to create it. And sometimes that can be just, you know, those people who are really provocative and they'll walk in a room and just say the thing that'll get you like feeling badly or annoying you. That's someone who really is trying to be unkind. There's no excuse for it. They're not funny. They're not trying to be funny. They know what they're doing. They want to be provocative in order to ruin everyone's good time. And that's what I just really can't stand. And they try to be superior. But intentional meanness and unkindness, if anyone in your life is like that, please remove them now in a very gentle and loving way. You can send them love from your yoga mat every morning, but the detriment and destruction that they will cause in your life is too much, and you deserve far better. So I just want to check my comments here. We're going to pick cards. Right, because it's not about them. You're right, Janine. So, right, no judgment, Pauline. It's tough sometimes. You know why? Because we're human. And human people are born with drama controls. It's built into our DNA. And that's all the work, you guys in my beautiful Zenkuda community and all my beautiful Zenkuda warriors, I love you, I'm sending you all a big hug. That's all the work that you guys are doing. You're detaching from that conditioning of the drama control. And that's what this is about, is spotting a person that has some of these qualities and making sure that you don't attach to them. You can be friends with them. You could go out to dinner with them. You could have a drink with them. You could listen to music with them or go to a concert with them, but do not allow yourself to get attached to them. So let's go back and see. It's true, actually, Aaron, that there are not good or bad people, although I have met some bad people. But I met some really good people. I met more good people than I met bad people. I can honestly say that. But I think it's conditioning. I think it's really, what your experiences are in this lifetime and what you carry from past lifetimes will probably determine your karma. And karma, I mean whether you are being a good person or acting as a bad person, because that's our karma. Okay, another one is self-centered and self-absorbed. Yeah, some people take this to an extreme where you'll be talking to them. I have someone in my life right now that I talk to them and I know they're not listening to me. And they're like doing something else or watching TV, or they won't lower the TV, or they're on the phone like diddle-daddling. Caught one person playing solitaire the other day while I was talking to them about something. And I was like, yeah, that's probably not somebody that's really going to honor me in my life. And so that's what this is all about, is picking out someone whose qualities we don't judge good or bad, but are just maybe qualities that aren't going to be good for you in your life and aren't going to be supportive and honoring of the beautiful soul that you are. And when we're doing work on ourselves and we're doing work to become supernatural and live beyond our five senses, when we're doing that kind of beautiful soul work, we don't want to have things in our life that make weak links in our chain. We don't want to have things in our life that are going to bring us backwards. We want to really make sure that we know that the people in our life are supportive of us and want what's best for us and really have our best interests at heart. If someone is untrusting and untrustworthy, a lot of times we bring people into our life that don't have any idea of anything being sacred. And many things are sacred. Sometimes, you could have a child in your life that's your child and or grandchild, and maybe their birthday is a sacred thing for you. You're looking forward to it. It's just a beautiful evening or afternoon, and you can't wait to do it. And maybe you're buying a special cake or a special present, or maybe it's another occasion and you've bought a special dress or a new suit or whatever. And this thing is really kind of sacred to you. And then this person, whether it's a family member or whoever, does their best maybe to be that person who walks in the room and is provocative and says things or just ruins it somehow with an attitude. That's someone who's not trustworthy, because you can't trust them to honor your space of sacredness. Or perhaps you confide in someone only to have them reveal that confidence to others. That's someone who doesn't understand about sacred and what is sacred to you. And anyone who really has your best interests at heart understands what's not their story to tell, or what spaces in your life that you are asking them to share with you are sacred to you and you want them to be treated special. So I think that's a really big one, is when someone's not trustworthy in that way. We think of untrustworthy being cheating or lying or whatever, but no, someone that you can't rely on to take care of your good time. Not create it. We create our own experience, but to honor that you are creating that experience and it's sacred to you. That's a really big one. And again, they don't trust themselves. So when they walk into that room and they say provocative things, or they have to act in a certain way, be the clown or be inappropriate, it's because they're trying to break that awkward feeling of not understanding the happy, the joy, the relying on that. So, a lot of times they're just a little bit damaged people, maybe. Next one is they're controlling. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. I used to be a controller, and now I can't be controlling. I don't even want to drive the car. I want to be the passenger. I want to be in the back seat. I want to look at the scenery. I want to experience without any pressure, And when we have people in our life who are controlling, it's so much pressure. It's pressure for us, to be controlled and make sure we're doing the right thing. Oh my God, am I on the program? Am I on the program? That's craziness. And it's a lot of pressure for the controller. Can you imagine living in a brain where constantly making sure everything is right or under, a certain program? That's a little bit too much work for moi. I'd like to use my energy to do really great stuff in the world and make myself happy. So the controlling thing is like a non-negotiable for me. I'm a live and let live person. Hey, Monica. That's true. And I was actually getting that. So Pauline says that a lot of times what we see in others, what that detachment is in others, is what we need to love in ourselves. And that's very true. But I think sometimes we get to a point in our path where we don't need to keep repeating that. And if we learn it, the lesson does go away. So if you are attracting the same type of person over and over and over and over again in your life, it's probably because you're not healing something within yourself. And once you do that, you'll attract a completely different type of person. Aaron says it all comes from our childhood. I recently started therapy. We tend to bring people into our life that act like our parents. That is true. And we also act out our familial relationships and roles in our workplaces. So if you think about that, there's someone in your workplace for every member of the family that you grew up with, because we duplicate it. You had an ex, Janine, that said you didn't look happy on stage when you graduated and accomplished something good for yourself. Yeah, that's kind of what people do. I think insecure people do that. And that's the other trait of a cold-hearted person. They're very insecure people. Most of the time, they're going to say something offhandedly to knock you off kilter because they're not comfortable with you being stronger than them, or what they perceive as you being stronger than them. And it can be an offhand comment like, oh, your friend really didn't like you. She just said that. Or I know you really love that purple dress, but you look hideous in it. Things like that. And you'd be surprised how many people really say stuff like that, So one of the things that I always try and test myself is when someone says something to me that I'm questioning, I let myself question it. I don't talk myself out of it. Like we have a habit, I think, a lot of us, of when we want to question something, somebody said something that really isn't kosher, we want to question it, but we don't allow ourselves to. Instead, we deny that right to ourselves and say, oh, no, come on, you're just being too sensitive, you're being blah, blah, blah. And we should question it. If you're questioning something, question it. Ask yourself, what did that person hope to gain by saying that? Well, there's no reason someone would say something like that to you, that you look unhappy when you're getting your diploma on stage, except to be mean. That's why they said it. So, Joanne, Maya, oh, hi, Joanne. We're all going to send you some love. Joanne, I saw you stole my cat in the hat. Bard, anyway, which is fine. You could share anything. But yeah, I was very upset today that Dr. Seuss got canceled. So I put the cat in the hat as my profile picture because he was a big part of my growing up. But if we could all send some love to Joanne. She had a biopsy today and she's in a little bit of pain. So I am going to actually surround you, Joanne, with some beautiful violet light. Just let that kind of twinkle through. And sending you love. Go rest. Please go rest. So, like we were just talking about that detachment and how sometimes it develops as meanness and all that kind of stuff. And one of the other things that I wanted to get to was, and this kind of related to what Janine was saying, is they're repeat offenders. Like someone will say something like, oh, you looked really unhappy when you got your diploma. And maybe you'll feel open enough at some point with them to say, that remarks like that really bother me, and I don't understand why you feel the need to say things like that when you know it's going to have an effect on me and not in a good way. And they'll maybe apologize if they think they can gain something from it, but usually cold-hearted people do not take accountability. But they'll keep doing it. Like you'll have another situation that's a different circumstance but makes you feel the same way from something they said. So they're repeat offenders. And that's also how you really can understand about a cold-hearted person. They don't honor the sacredness of things, but they also don't honor the sacredness of your feelings. And when you explain to them that something hurts you, it's not sacred to them. It's not that they're going to not do it again. They're going to do it again. And I'm sure most of my audience tonight if someone told you something you did hurt them, you would never do it again. That's difference between a beautiful, warm-hearted openness and a cold heart that hasn't understood that yet. So the other thing is manipulation, destruction, soul crushing. Like, you work for 4 years to get a diploma and somebody says something like that too. The other thing is, not only do they rarely apologize, but many times when you are hurt and you confront them and say, I don't think that was a very nice thing for you to say to me after I got my diploma and I worked so hard, and they'll say you're being too sensitive. Oh my God, you're so ridiculous. That's a cold-hearted person. Cold-hearted people are also unreliable. They're unreliable in the sense of when you need support most, you're going through something in your life, or you're changing circumstances, or it could be something that we all do on a regular basis. Maybe you're moving, or you just lost someone, or or a job, things aren't going good at your job. They're not going to be consistent in their support. They might support you for a very short period of time and then pull something that allows them to detach, or say something or pick a fight that allows them to detach. The reason being is cold-hearted people cannot sustain warmth. They can't do it. They're not comfortable doing it. So they're going to do something to detach themselves from any situation that requires a vulnerability or a connection. So it's not personal. So the reason why I wanted to talk about all this stuff tonight is because I feel like we allow these things into our life. They come into our life. Maybe our energy attracts them in. But it's for a reason. We're not just supposed to kick these people to the curb. We're supposed to observe the behavior, go within ourselves to find out why they're in our life in the first place, work that out so that someone just like them won't come in again after we do kick them to the curb. So I want to talk about that, and I'm going to, in finishing up this line of thinking, what I want to say is, you're all going to get to a point, and I'm going to get to a point, and everybody that is on the spiritual path is going to get to a point where we don't let people like this into our life. And not in a cold way, not in a violent way, not in a stubborn way, in a loving way. And just see, okay, well, this person has a lot of fear, or this person has a lot of anger, and I have empathy for that. I was that person perhaps at a certain time in my life. And you may see traits in them that are really very demonstrative of you. But then there's a barrier, there's a border, there's a boundary. And that is not allowing them into your life where they're a detriment to you. And that's a really big part of being on the spiritual path. Not being stubborn and picky and throwing people out of your life because you're done with this and that. No. It's understanding why it is this way, why it was in your life to begin with, and moving on from it in a really healthy way. I have several people in my life right now that I have a very different relationship with than I used to. A much more superficial, a much cooler, not as attracted and attached relationship, because I have observed what they are in their cold-hearted manners, and I have decided I don't want that in my life. But I can still have that person around me or enjoy certain attributes of them, because I'm not tied in, I'm not bound, I'm not attracted, I'm not attached, I'm not trying to fix it. And when you get to that point in your spiritual journey, it's such freedom. It's a beautiful freedom because it actually expands your heart to love that person in a different way, because you're not attached to them and you're not looking for anything from them. So that detriment, that deprivation that you feel from them not being what you need is no longer there, because you don't need it from them anymore. You've given it to yourself, you've found it other places. So now this person is just someone you observe. You can see their bad traits, their good traits, for lack of a better word, without judgment. And you can still allow yourself to enjoy certain aspects of them. And that's the journey. It's not kicking people to the curb so you don't have to do it again, because it's just going to keep coming back. It's not kicking people out of your life or detaching from people with anger or bitterness. Well, then you're just as cold-hearted as they are, because bitterness is what grinds that out. So I think that if we can get to a point of neutrality where they don't bother us anymore, we're not hooked in. And if they want to be mean, that's fine. They're not going to change my experience. That's the spiritual journey. Becoming that observer, that strong strength, sovereignty over yourself. And so I wanted to talk about that today because I know we can all get into these ruts. I know we all identify with this. I know we've all have people like this in our lives and still do. The trick is not always throwing them to the curb. The trick is learning the lesson of why they're there, what you needed that brought them in the first place, how you can fulfill that in yourself, and then becoming sovereign enough over yourself that maybe they get to stay in your life, but they're not going to affect you anymore. And that's a beautiful thing. So we're going to go to some cards. Janine says, I already got to that point. Sad to say, I don't want to be involved or around that. Yeah, and you don't even, after a while, you don't even miss it. Like, you don't even miss those people, because what happens is we create space then for others like us, like-minded and like-hearted, kind, loving-hearted. The kindness permeates. We create a space where that naturally comes in, because we no longer have the other energy blocking us, blocking everything in our life. So I'm going to go to some cards. Who wants a card? So the first thing I'm going to do is actually pick a card for tonight for the general energy and see where that is. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Monica, Aaron, Janine, John. I got my crowd here today. My peeps are out. Okay. So can you guys see Sparky sleeping over there? He's like an old man these days. He just sleeps and sleeps. He's very disoriented that we're down in the Zen den living down here right now. But he's such a sweetie. But I have to tell you, he is the most loving animal, and we could all learn from our animals. So anytime you're feeling a little bit mired or abused by a cold-hearted person, grab your pet, because they will always bring you back to what's real. All right? My screen froze, so I'm not seeing my comments right now. Let me refresh. Okay. When they're family, Marianne, it's the same thing. You will understand them. I have family members like that. I have a family member that has been in my family for 40 years, and he is a very provocative person, always says something to get you going, you know. And I just don't really hear it anymore. I just I'm always very pleasant. I can actually admire his sense of humor. And, they are who they are, and you don't allow it to become something that determines your mood, your experience. You have to detach from that person in the sense of your energy is combined to them, almost like a figure eight. Like they walk in the room and say something and immediately you feel it. Oh, why did they say that? No. Just be like, oh, that was a stupid thing to say. So whatever, I think I'll just go get more dinner, you know? Like, don't let it bother you. You have to get to that point, because inevitably, that is how we stay in our own spiritual house. That is how we become sovereign over ourselves. Like John is saying, as we grow spiritually, move to a different place and change our old ways. Absolutely. But we don't just change the way, we change the creation of what we are. And every choice we make creates more of us. So now, and vice versa. So now as we create a different being in our spirituality, our choices are different and our life becomes different. We create a completely different life. You know, that's actually one of the reasons I'm remodeling the main floor of my house, because I need it to reflect the energy of who I am now, not when I built it in 2003, you know. So it's a really different feeling, really different energy. And even now I find like you gravitate towards what's comfortable, you know. It's like the south node and the north node. We're all going to the south node. We should be going to the north node. And even today I had to pick the stain for my hardwood floors. And I so wanted to pick something that looked exactly like what I just had them sand off. And I didn't let myself do it. I said, no, that is not your vibe. You got to go into the new vibe. And that's the same thing when someone comes into your life, or your family member, whoever, who's been pushing your buttons for the last 20 years. You get to a point where you say, well, no, that's not my vibe anymore, so I really don't care what they say, you know. I love Loki too. I've seen him on Facebook. And I agree with that, Pauline, that, show them unconditional love. But I think sometimes on the spiritual path, before we really learn, we oftentimes confuse unconditional love with loving no matter what. And unconditional love, I believe, is love without conditions, but loving ourselves with the condition and the boundary of always our higher good. And so when you start to get into the habit of loving unconditionally, you must check your own vibe first. You must make sure that you are still being supportive and loving of yourself. Because that whole unconditional love thing, people throw that around as an excuse to be doormats, as an excuse to be like, oh, I'm going to love them no matter what, in spite of themselves. That is BS, and I'm here to tell you that's BS. Unconditional love is you're on your yoga mat and someone has betrayed you and done you wrong. And you can be in a meditation and send them love and nothing more. Not love, oh, I wish they'd come back. Not love, oh, but they don't deserve what they have. Not love and any other emotion. Just, I'm sending you love and I really mean it. That is unconditional love. And I think sometimes we get into a rut with thinking, oh, I'm not supposed to not love this person, or I'm not supposed to be offended by something. No, we are. We're supposed to honor ourselves and have those boundaries. So that's just my little rant about unconditional love. Okay. So I got three cards here, actually. Oh, these are good cards. I like them. Okay, so this is the card for the general energy right now of tonight in the world. So the first card I picked was our soul card. And I love this card. I have never picked this card before, I don't think. And this card is, I think, all of us, right? And look at the hands, okay? Even you, John, even though you got a really good set of boobs there. So if you look at the hands, we're in this kind of pose, a goddess pose. I have been feeling a lot of female energy. I had the beautiful privilege of giving Reiki to one of my beautiful friends, Elisa, the other day. And I did it with Kim Shiana, who is an amazing, amazing healer. And the Blessed Mother and all feminine divine came in. It was beautiful. And this really is representative of that beautiful feminine energy of the divine, the angels above, all of that. But the surrender of the hands, this is definitely an energy now, I feel it's very much so now, where we need to surrender. We need to surrender whatever is really giving us discomfort, dis-ease in our life, and totally let Spirit come in and show us where we need to make changes and where we need to have a revelation about what we really need to do and what we're lacking in our life. I feel like surrender is really going to be a theme in 2021. We have a huge theme because of the planetary alignments of old versus new, old structures coming down, being inventive and creative enough to set up new structures. But in order to do that, so oftentimes we have to surrender. And surrender not to thy will be done, yes, but in co-creation. You don't just roll over and allow life to happen. You co-create it with the energy that created you. And then amplifying that is this beautiful energy of the Five of Pentacles, which is an energy of abundance. This is very much like the orphans in the storm. But whenever I see this card, the orphans above them are these beautiful pentacles in stained glass window. So this is a card of trust for me, which really goes with the theme of surrender. Because if we can trust Spirit to bring us those beautiful coins, those beautiful abundance and light coming from the beautiful color of the window, no matter how deprived we feel, if we trust and surrender, that comes. And this is confirmed for me on the third card that I pulled, which is the Pisces card, which is the Magician. And we actually have right now the Sun in Pisces, and I believe Venus is going into Pisces as well. And we have Mercury in Gemini. If you look over the card of the head of the Magician, you see the infinity symbol. And I just previously mentioned the infinity symbol in my podcast tonight in reference to other people's energy coming into us and our energy going into them. And it becomes like an infinity symbol of we see everything we do being that emotional contagion. So we have the power. The Magician is all powerful, unlimited. That beautiful infinity symbol has no beginning and no end. which symbolizes the power we have to create our own energy and our own experience with our own vibration. So these are three beautiful cards, which really, to me, prove that we have a beautiful opportunity right now in the universe, and the universe is supporting and helping us to surrender to our next level, surrender to whatever beauty is supposed to come into our life. And once we do that, we're going to have a beautiful, beautiful time. Change is definitely coming. Okay, so I'm going to pull some cards. Let me go to the top. First card tonight is, I only have 15 minutes, so I'm going to do real quick reads, guys. Exactly, Aaron. Compassion. We have to have compassion for people who are meanies. Okay, so first one is Janine. All right. My lighting isn't so good tonight. I got to get better lighting. Janine, I think you pulled this card before. You got a lot on your mind. Don't let all the people around you influence you. Stick into your own plan. Keep the faith. Stay the course. Do the goals that you want for yourself. Don't let any other people come in and influence you. Okay? Next card is for Pauline. Oops, I just dropped a bunch of cards. Sorry, guys. See what happens when you rush. March 29th, I am having another evening online, another gallery reading, Psychic Night online with Babylon Breast Cancer Coalition. So if you look on their page, Babylon Breast Cancer Coalition, you'll see March 29th, the fundraiser. Okay, this is for Pauline. Pauline, this is a card of introspection. I feel like if you meditate, you're going to get some really deep messages. I feel like you're on a really big path of rejuvenation and ascension and a next level. Things are going to change in your life, but for the better and also gently. I don't feel like it's really big changes. I feel like they're coming gently. But take extra time in your meditations because I think that things are going to really come to you. Very connected. Very, very connected. Aaron, here's a card for you. I hope your mom's doing okay. I know it's been a week now. Boy, Sparky is just unconscious over there. Sparky, are you alive? I always worry. Sparky. Sparky? Oh, thank God. That would not be good. What are you doing? Okay, Aaron, this is a card of joy. Like just release, lightheartedness. You have all this beautiful green energy, which is healing around you. I feel almost like this is your mom. I hope she's doing okay. And everything's going good with her. Because I feel like it is. Especially because I have purple and green. And those are the two colors for healing. All right. Sparky, are you going to wake up? Okay, this card is for Sarah. Come say hi to everybody, Sparks. Hi, boo-boo. Okay, Sarah, I wanted to pull one of these cards for you, and I shuffled them, and we pulled the same card that we had before. And again, this is a card of hard, to me anyway, a card of hard times like leaving, of whatever has been making you feel deprived is now going to have a light shined on it and new good stuff coming in. So the deprivation is over, and luck and love and abundance is coming. Next card is for Monica. Actually, the next card is for John Minetta. Okay, John. This is a card of unity, partnership. So I don't know what's going on in your life, but this to me feels like unity and partnership with yourself, higher self, like getting back in touch with a deep soul revelation, getting back in touch with self, like being your own best friend, partnership and unity. So I would definitely be meditating very aggressively now, John. because I think you're going to find yourself really connected with yourself in a much higher way. Okay. David, this is a card for you. David, this is a card of health and also rebirth. So I feel like you need to be more gentle with yourself. I feel like sometimes you're too harsh and gentle with the people around you. So be kind. Be really kind, especially to people in your home. All right. Monica, you're next for a card. Monica, I feel a lot of angels around you tonight, but divine feminine, blessed mother energy, Kuan Yin, butterflies, rejuvenation, transformation. So I don't know what's going on, but I feel like very light, fluffy energy around you. Okay. And I've got the King of Cups. I don't know if this is a dad or someone who is like a dad to you energy, if someone's passed. I feel like this is a very loving energy, very emotional, but loving, like someone who shows you love. An older male figure, I feel almost like from the other side. Okay. Marianne, this is a card for you. I shuffled them and it's the same card that Monica just got. Yeah, I feel like this is also husband, father, husband, just coming in to say, I love you and everything's going to be fine. So that's all I'm getting. Elizabeth, I'm going to pick a card for you as well. I don't know why I just got the feeling of travel for you, Elizabeth, but maybe not travel for pleasure, like not a vacation, but maybe to see someone or to look into something, like more like something that's an obligation. And I got the Hierophant, which is a card of conservatism. August 5th, I don't know if that's a date for you or 5, but I feel like that just came in for me. Yeah, I feel like you have some kind of a journey that you're planning, a physical journey, an actual journey, trip, but it's more of an obligation. It's going to go okay, not gently. You will have revelations, but it works out really okay. It's something you have to do and you're meant to do. Gina, how you doing, baby? I got to talk to you about something. She should go have her surgery, Aaron. I just did David. Okay, so Gina, Coffin, my love. Gonna pick a soul card for you. Ooh, Gina, you got like Tree of Life. This is like putting down your roots and growing something new. But I feel like this is like family, like something new transitioning in your family. But it's a beautiful card, a beautiful energy. But this is definitely you growing, growth, something that is rooted in a good foundation. I feel like your family, something to do with your family. Terry, I'm going to give you a card. Terry Prague. For those of you who are looking to buy a ticket to the Babylon Breast Cancer Coalition on March 29th, that is Terry Prague. Is one of the coordinators there, but go to the Babylon Breast Cancer on Facebook site, Babylon Breast Cancer Coalition, March 29th. I'm going to be doing readings online, gallery style on Zoom. Okay, Gina, this isn't Gina, this is Terry. This is so weird because we're talking about breasts, and if you look at this card, it's like holding two people to the breast, and look at the wings and the fire energy behind. If this isn't a healing card and demonstrative of the work you do to heal people, I don't know what is. I almost feel like crying when I look at this card. This is you. Keep up the work. Keep up your beautiful compassion, empathy, your healing work that you do for the coalition in life. Beautiful warrior that you are. I know sometimes it's a lot and you get depleted. Take care of yourself. Nurture your own self. Nurture your whatever you need to bring to your own breast and your own nourishment. Because look at the beautiful wings. And we always say your shoulders always carry so much. And you've got some help here in this card. So that's for you, Terry. And Sarah. Did I do Sarah? I don't remember. I think I did. Oh, tomorrow's your anniversary. Yeah, he's just coming to just say hi and everything's going to be okay. Okay, and the broadcast is going to end in a couple of minutes. If there's anybody that I missed, just throw it in the end of the comments. All right, I'm going to the end now. Oh, you're welcome, Elizabeth. Okay, so I think that's pretty much our show. Anybody have a question for me? I'll wait a few minutes. I'm going to pick a card for the Zancuda community. Let's see, where is the Zancuda community going in 2021? Will we be growing? I'd love to have a beautiful in-person event. So hopefully by the end of the year, right? King of Swords. King of Swords is success in business, someone who's an organizer, someone who is reliable, trustworthy. So this community is here to stay, guys. So I want to thank you all for tuning in and being a part of my beautiful evening every Tuesday. And we are actually going to be doing some really new stuff. I should be back in the studio. Probably could have gone back tonight, but I just didn't have the energy right now. A lot going on. But if you would all send me some love, I'm going to send some love out to all of you. Beautiful purple light, violet light. And good night, everybody. Sleep tight. Have a beautiful evening. And hopefully Sparky, he's just a lazy bones in his bed. So he's peeking out. So he sends love too. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you next Tuesday night, if not before. And if you have any special requests about what you'd like to see on one of our broadcasts, just let me know. And you can find me on Jojo Rose Zancuda on Facebook, Zancuda Official on YouTube, and of course, Zancuda Official on Instagram. Thanks so much. See you all soon. Good night.